And once you do that, I'll just start spamming your link around in the areas you can't get to.
Ooh, neat. And we should be live. Everything should be working, hopefully.
Should.
Yeah.
I like your jokes.
I have actually got something new for today. Hello, chat. Welcome, and let me activate. Haha.
Why do I worry?
Now I just wait for it to actually show up on the stream, and we actually get a bit of a latency check of sorts. First, someone had to be.
If someone's not first, then I'll be first. Oh.
Right. Ah, yeah. There we go. Okay, yeah. It works. Granted, it's probably not very visible, and I just realized that because of my frame rate, it's not super useful. But
I mean, something is something.
We have the little Discord thing.
Ooh, fancy punch.
Welcome, everyone. And welcome
At the moment, it says you're still playing Minecraft.
Yes, because God damn it, Discord. Today
it'll override and say the first thing first.
Why?
Oh, why have I got tagged for a second and then I didn't get tagged for a second? What the devil just happened there?
Today we actually have a list.
Oh no, lists. I don't like lists.
We have a little topic list.
Oh gosh. Oh haha.
Yes, make this a little bit more clear what's going on.
Oh Christ! Excuse me. Yes, be my guest.
So today we have the introduction, which is basically just this, and
oh yeah, I'm here again. Why would you want me here? I don't know.
I think I saw a comment by someone who said that they enjoyed the guests, which has since disappeared. Fuck you, YouTube.
Oh, it was obviously one of the guests. It was obviously Hunter or Dora.
Maybe. Who knows?
No, I wasn't being serious. Oh no. Oh no.
I think it was cheese. But in the background,
cheesecake.
In the background of this stream, I'm just going to be digging for debris.
No. That sounds like devilish Seymour.
Of course, I am in hell. Now,
I'm meant to be streaming today. I think I'll have a go again. Cause I've been wanting to stream like all week again after Monday, but I was like, all right, no, I will resist the temptation and burn myself out. I will keep to a plan. I only do one day or 2 days. It will be 2 days. But I don't know what I'm going to stream.
Yes.
I will guess it will just be grabbing.
Hello, other person. You sound way less generic when I haven't heard a human voice outside of YouTube for 4 days.
Well, okay then. Thank you. I'm not sure whether to take that positively or negatively, but
hey,
something is something.
It's like my advice is to take things as compliments. If you can't decide between taking something as an insult or a compliment, just take it as a compliment. Because why not? Yes, today we're talking about role-playing again. And
could you have guessed? I don't know how you could guess.
Yeah, but there's some hints.
I feel like I'm being mean. I'm not, I don't think.
Perhaps, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Game rule. To tile drops fall. If I do that, I'm gonna be able to mine out without actually anything dropping, which is gonna be useful for performance. But yes, I've got one opening question, actually, that I'm curious for your thoughts on. And that is, how open is one with stories about roleplaying. I like the stories they tell. Because personally, I'm
To
very
be honest, it's been so long since I've properly roleplayed with a stranger or just anyone in general. Yeah, I haven't roleplayed for a good month, and even that one was like 2 replies, and that was it. So yeah, I'll go through my past. If I feel I don't want to talk about a specific one, I just won't mention it.
yeah. Like,
But other than that, yeah, I'm happy to talk about roleplays and the ones the bits I've had.
yeah. Because based on thinking how in general one approaches that, personally, I'm very, very open. But like, even I've got, like, mostly if it's an ERP, I might restrain myself.
I mean, that makes sense. You're on YouTube.
Yeah, that is one reason that I didn't consider. Yeah, mostly
We can glance over the subject at least with those
Yeah.
ones.
like
Ow, my ears! Fuck's sake.
Hmm?
I sent a video. I clicked play. My ears were just blown out of proportion. Let me put this in general. I suggest turning your volume heavily down.
okay, I'm getting this on my phone.
Turn it very like as close to the bottom as you can.
That's what I've got. And here I see a bunny.
Wait, that's as cursed as Door is cursed.
Yeah. Because I stories comes down to you. Ooh. Oh, it's that sort of thing. I can't even hear it. That's how low I've got it, but yeah. Basically, I wonder how open people in general are about sharing their stories.
I feel people will be reserved for private ones or ones they felt deeply with, but like generic ones they probably did for a little bit, but then just cut off from them. I doubt they will be too.
It wouldn't be.
We'll feel too reserved about them.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm just very open. Though, one fun thing that I go on to from there is getting into this stuff, like, so I can get fake my age and never talk about my age and pretend I was getting. Didn't tell no. I'm not sure.
Probably should open YouTube up and actually see what the devil's going on. Oh, there we are.
And I'm not sure I'm gonna take that one.
I never talk about my age and pretend I was getting.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna go in on that. Mostly because of YouTube too.
Yeah, that's not the roleplay I'm on about.
Yeah.
I am very. What happens in a roleplay is just that.
It's fiction.
Roleplay is not. It's fiction.
Yeah. Hey, we'll go our first bits of mention.
That kind of vary. Let's bounce off of that and go on your ideas list.
Because how does one get into this hobby? Like,
you're asking me. I've got no idea, and I'm in it.
yeah.
I think I saw. I was with the Google Plus.
Yeah. It's awkward if you don't even.
Yeah, pirate. Well, we don't.
I don't know much about them. I
saw it being blood. I saw something like Pyrocynical had drama, and that was all I needed to know. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just run away from that.
Like, I stay away from drama like it's wildfire. I'm like, nah, I don't need that in my life.
I mean, when Keemstar was big, when he first like shot up into the internet presence, even I stayed away from that crap. I think I continued to watch Yogscast, and I continued to watch, I think, like a bit of PewDiePie and then probably some Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and just watch their gaming videos. And if they came away from the tried dragging away from the normality is when I just didn't watch.
Yeah. Personally, I'm just like, I don't care about drama. I'm not gonna get involved. Fuck that entire idea. It
I mean,
just
drama most of the time is just unnecessary. A lot of people make
hey,
unnecessary drama.
welcome,
Well,
Hunter.
hello there.
Yeah. Actually, Hunter, this means that we can toss a question to you that I've stated. I asked earlier, and you have to have a lot of patience. Trust me if you wanna. We'll get
Ask
to that
away.
one after I ask you, Hunter, because I asked this to Incubus, and that is how open are one with like stories about your role plays. Like, what do you share with people casually? I'm not talking like you go up to someone and you start talking about a role play that you did, but rather just like in a conversation, what would you and what would you not?
You mean like in a conversation with someone I just met and the topic somehow comes to roleplaying?
That, and I guess also with like people who you know better. I mean, if you really
With friends, I have this really weird thing. Like, I love my friends, and I have a friend that is basically Discord obsessed, and that's the biggest reason I became friends with him. Because, well, I can relate to a certain point. Just he was not doing roleplay or ERP at that time. I was doing it a lot with you guys, and I talked with him about it. He actually was interested in what I spent my time with Discord on. So I talked to him about basically every roleplay I did. I am pretty open about such stuff. I don't care much if it's weird. I mean, I did some weird roleplays. Vizzy can attest that most likely. And
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I just like the experience.
For me, it's mostly like I'm very much that way, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Like, that's the thing that would worry me, is if someone else feels bad about sharing a story. But we got a question actually here from Cheesecakes. You have to have a lot of patience and trust on someone if you want to roleplay, I'm guessing.
Depends. I mean, usually you know your people. We start mostly roleplays with people on our server that we know. But if you start a roleplay with someone you don't really know that long, you don't have had some experience with, you have to put some trust in it. You trust the other person also wants to roleplay, so you have to wait for that answer. You can't roleplay on your own.
Unless you're like me, trying to point farm when the server first came up.
I never point farmed, and I was on the second place after Vizzy for quite some time. Then I stopped being on the server, and I think now I'm like 11.
So I point farm to try and beat Nye, but it never would happen. And so
It's because
I
Nye
sort of
posts
gave
a
up in
lot
the
of
end.
pictures.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't even know. Well, I think she talked a lot back in the day.
That
but I can't
too,
even
that too.
remember.
And still
She
to this day,
did
she has
write a
beaten
lot.
me. She has beaten me on the point list because of my inactivity. But yes, is there like D&D combat in RP? Yeah, I haven't ever role played, but I'm guessing it would be fun. It's a lot of fun, and we do have. Let me get up that list again. Did I include? Oh, what?
Combat RP? Yeah, you did.
Ooh.
You did include combat roleplay.
Wow, that's weird. 1 second, let me. You guys continue talking. I'm gonna try and sort out
Talking.
About the D&D fight in roleplays, you most usually don't have fight that close to D&D. It's a bit more free. You don't have exact weapon moves or something you do. You just write what your character does. Like, if your character wants to sweep his blade 3 times across the enemy's body, you can do that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind the other person will have some time to react too. So try not to just ignore that the other person actually also has something to do in that time frame.
The dance, you've got to give and go, I think.
Are
and
there
take.
3 people or 2? In the call, we are 3 people.
Yes, we are 3 people.
Oh no,
There's
generic
just
voice
joined.
Hunter
Hello?
and Incubus are merging into
Yes,
one.
we have the exact same voice. We sound the exact same.
A Brit, a Swede, and a German.
Should I do the rough German accent to actually be differentiated from the Incubuddy? Oh hell no!
Oh goodness me.
Fuck me. Oh my goodness. Don't ever do, no.
Oh, that's,
No.
yeah.
Cheesecake to answer that, no.
Yeah.
You don't need any dice to do combat.
So your character
RP.
doesn't need like mana or roll a
You
dice.
don't need
You don't need
dices.
anything. You don't need anything. You've just got to be understanding that what's happening is not. You're not doing It's not a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
It's this will be happening like it would in real life, and it's going to happen. They're going to react whether you want them to or not.
Yeah.
So
Now,
keep that in mind.
dice can be very useful, which I think, Hunter, is what you're planning to lay
That
down.
was what I wanted to say, yeah. We did use dice before, you can use them, but to what extent you use them and what exactly you roll out is also up to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow the specific D&D rules if you will hit or not. You don't have a DC you try to beat. You have most usually just your rough idea of how hard will this and that be what I try to do. Roll for it, then you can yourself see if your character succeeds or not succeeds. Then you write that down. But you have to be truthful to the dice too then. That is also a thing where there can happen some weird things when you suddenly get smashed into walls or get a blade into your chest.
Yeah.
Sucks to be on the receiving end of that, but it happens. And that is what combat is for. 2 people fighting against each other, both will sustain damage most likely.
Yeah. And Incubus, could you real quick make sure that there's a note in the bar that I am now alive in the stream bit?
Yeah,
You are
sure,
now
yeah.
live, not alive. Alive you were before, I think.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
No. Give me a moment.
Uh,
Oh no, that's an image.
yeah, it's very welcome to another episode of I Mess Up Spelling and Lose in a YouTube comment or make myself look like an idiot on stream because of the latency. No worries, my man. No worries at all. Hopefully the latency won't be too bad today, because that would be terrible if we have latency on something like this. But
Oh, sorry.
let me bring up the list again. I feel so professional.
Oh gosh.
See here.
This is professional. I mean, he does that pretty well.
I can sound professional. How much truth that is. Oh.
You don't need mana, you don't need to roll the dice. You can have mana as in a sense of your character starts to feel depleted, starts not having the energy for certain attacks.
Yeah.
That you still have to do in your mind though. You don't have an exact mana pool. You can set yourself up with an exact mana pool if you want to. But your opponent most likely won't do that. And you can talk to each other, try to find a middle ground there. But that all depends on how you try to approach this fight. That's why just talking to the other person gets so important, because you two have to get some ground rules in, or just go for it with just writing.
Now, when it comes to talking to each other, that actually is a great segue into something that I think is worth mentioning. Because all three of us, I think that if you see me type something in the bar and you see bold text, like, what's the first thing you're gonna think that is in a roleplay room?
Oh, well, text simple. That's what's happening. That's the actions being committed.
Because
Depends.
that is one of those things, like, we have these conventions, right, with how we use symbols. I know that me and Liz, when we roleplay, we don't talk in a voice call like me and Hunter has done in the past. But we have a system to actually state something out of character without breaking flow. And that being double dash or double parentheses at the end and start of something. That's
I
then
got into that with you.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, we have these conventions, don't we? And even, like, when you write something, I'm not sure where it started that you use, is it apostrophe for actions? The thing that makes it bold in Discord.
Stars. Double star.
Yeah.
Double star at the end and beginning.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the exact name of that symbol. Anyone?
The symbol you use for multiplying on your calculator on your notepad. I don't know what exactly it's called, but
Incubus, do you know what it's called?
What, the little star?
Mm.
the little star. Yeah.
You're the British person here. You're the native English
To
speaker.
be honest, no one's actually told me it. I always know it as the multiplication, the either the star or the multiplication one.
Yeah. Like, there's more conventions than that as well. Like, squiggly line. And it's
Oh yes. Where do we start it though? Really, wherever your heart desires. Well, if you've got an interest for doing just normal, and just going for Stanley standards, then I'm not sure. Just say you're a human, and have them exploring a forest. From there, go from there.
actually, we can use that.
Oh gosh.
Oh, hey, I see a hunter.
Rolls in, rolls out. I'm out. I'm already out of it. I rolled out. I rolled in, then rolled out.
Yeah, that's
Rolling.
that. Seeing the symbols brings me back to G+. Goodness gracious.
G+ was a great time.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was my home, and it was beautiful.
It was great for role playing. G+ was. It wasn't a social media platform as it was a role playing platform.
It was a social platform. I had some friends. Just
It was
via
social.
Google+,
It was
but
social. It's not in the way that Google probably suspected it would be.
Yeah, it was so goddamn anime driven. I never thought I was like, okay, there is no social media for me. I should maybe look for anime forums or stuff like that.
And then G+.
Then there was like, G+, like anime everywhere, roleplay everywhere, and perverted stuff my mind tried to get out of it everywhere. I loved it.
G+ be like, konnichiwa, motherfucker.
Get into me, Oni-san!
No, fuck.
Oh god.
What have I done?
You have talked to me about Google+. Like, the bane of my existence. The way I am today is just because of Google+.
Oh,
yeah, not wrong
but,
at all.
I'm pretty sure the same goes for you two, so...
I'm not denying it.
I'm not even gonna... If I tried to say that, I would just, like, be yeeted into space by a Viking. That's how far my ancestors would hate me for lying that hard. For those who don't know, Swedes, like, Scandinavians in general, we've been on an honor sponge for a long time. That's why you would hire Vikings back in the day. because you can
Look,
trust.
look, they may kill you and spill your liver, but at least they're honest about it.
And if you get a Viking to promise you he's gonna protect you with his life, he gonna protect you with his life. Like, you can trust that.
The boy don't care what happens. He'll be by your side.
Yeah. But like back in the day, like I feel like that's where a lot of the conventions started, for like how you type things. But even then, people style it differently, and you have a variety of ways that you can actually do stuff. Don't leave me hang.
Hunter, go finish it.
Finish it.
Wait.
Because a lot of in the chat, a lot of the notes on the list of topics is actually written by Hunter, and I may or may not have plagiarized about 80%.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe you would do so. Well, I can actually. If I'm very honest, I can.
Oh, at least I'm honest about it.
Now, there's honesty and there's honesty. There's honesty within telling the truth, and there's honesty within not saying anything at all.
There's also honesty as in not lying.
Oh, I know, but yeah.
Something I'm quite good at. But something written down is styles and genre. Now, I think that's worth mentioning. Like, roleplay, as far as genre goes, it can be basically anything.
Yes.
I mean, Hunter, you and I, and you, Incubus, most of the time when we've been in a bar, it's been like...
I don't hear you right now.
What would you call it? Like slice of life?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I
Like,
didn't hear you just...
when we're in the
What
bar, just hanging out.
Genre would you class the bar roleplay when you're in the bar?
I'd call it slice of life.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Like, we talk about how we casually hang out in the bar with friends.
yeah. And then you also get other things like the scene that we talked about last week came to fruition, and it was tense.
Yes.
That was a nail biter. I loved it.
You had me sweating, my boy. You had me sweating.
Oh god.
Literally, I was sitting at home, legs up, crossed like a good girl I am, and I read through this and I'm like, oh my fucking god, no, don't
no.
have a fight, don't you, no, don't compromise the mission. I need this mission to work. Don't compromise it, please. Do not be this.
Oh god. Goodness gracious. Lord. Lord.
I actually said that in the roleplay channel, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna delete this. I can't say how this has to go. This is roleplay. If it fails, it fails. Okay, calm down. Whew.
Take the consequences.
Booza! Booza!
The enjoyment I've been missing is the random involvement I've been missing.
It's so much fun. And that is with the same character that Hunter uses for his slice of life, which comes okay, that's not a great segue, but I'm gonna say that it is, and I'm gonna pretend like it is. Okay, I'm a
Well, that's
RP
gonna
with
be
myself
interesting.
now. There is like choose your own adventures that people make, which are quite fun.
I've got a load of those, but I've got a
Yeah.
few of those books from my father. He happily gave me a few of them.
There's a few of the... I just guess that a lot of them are role players who make those. That and captioners, which is a topic we could get into at some point. But... what was my brain doing? Oh yeah, style. Because how you do the writing comes in there. and I think I mentioned last time. Actually, let me read the stuff that Hunter noted down. Let me get on my list again. Check it twice. Check which of you were naughty or nice.
Oh, good gosh. Oh, I'm absolutely hating this. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna see if I can wake myself up for a bit. Be back in
Right.
5.
Alright. So... Hunter, are you there?
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
good. So we got types of roleplay written down is GM 101. And what that comes down to is basically...
How many roleplay how many people you roleplay with?
Yeah.
Most usually you have one-on-one roleplay. That is the most common kind, I'd say.
Yeah.
You agree on that, right?
I would definitely say that seems like the most common, especially among people to enjoy.
Yeah. The next one I'd say that comes up sometimes is threesomes in the saying. GM role. Let's talk about GM first, because that still contains 2 people.
And that's one that I'm quite knowledgeable on.
Yeah, that is your territory. I never did GM role playing. I mean, I did GM some sessions of D&D, but that's it. GM role playing, that is you.
Yeah.
Take it away.
So, GM style roleplay, as contrary to when you have just one-on-one, where both parties essentially interact in a improv thing, I'd say it's still very improv-like when you do GM style, but you have one person who takes the role of controlling the world, making sure the environment around moves, describing the scenery, instead of having 2 people improving back and forth, okay, I do this, introducing new elements often into the scene. While that still happens in a GM style roleplay, it's far more to the GM, Game Master, to introduce those elements.
The GM basically has the control of the entire world. He says this and that is in this room, and says this and that isn't in this room. You can't suddenly make this and that appear, because the GM gives you the room you are in, and gives you the situation you are in. You basically follow through with some sort of pre-written way the GM wants it to go. You still have a lot of freedom, like in how you approach things, but you 2 should mostly have a similar idea of where this is trying to go.
Roughly. I'd say that there is a lot... Oh, that's the wrong button. There's a lot more you can do in that regard, especially with... my brain's trying to think now. With where stuff goes, because the main person that I've roleplayed with lately, for quite a while, has been Liz, who I will be entertaining later today, because
I never had a roleplay with Liz. I really want to, but I think like I left her hanging 2 times by now, and I think she's had enough of it.
Tease.
Me or her?
I will not comment on that one.
Come on, I meant that question. Give me an answer.
Probably yes. But there's plenty of times that I've had situations where I've set up a scene and I use dice in those roleplays. Right? I use dice to give an element of randomness, because I want there to be the possibility that something goes unexpected, so that both of us gets to, improv, do that part of it. And there are times when she has decided to do some maneuver which worked out, and I'm just there like, okay, this is happening now. It's amazing. Like bloody summoning demonettes and whatnot. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, you can do a lot of back and forth and input from, I guess. The thing is that I can mostly speak as the GM side of it, and it's mostly the same as if you do one-on-one. Take into consideration what the other person does, and then consider logically what's the end result of this. Now, on top of that, I tend to use dice to determine, okay, so this is what you're trying to do. I'm gonna roll some dice to see how well that goes. And then consider, okay, what is the environment like right now? And are there any consequences? Are you traveling? Okay, could the weather fuck up? Let me roll some dice. And to a degree, the system I use is honestly beyond myself. Like, I do it more instinctively than consciously. But
that is a thing that happens over time. When you get more used to it, you don't tend to think about every move you make. You just get into character, and your character feels like second nature to you.
Oh, I mean the dice rolling.
Even that.
Yeah.
That is also a thing you get used to.
I wish I had written down early on how I did it.
What I could tell you is to every situation that happens, you write a short message to yourself, like, I did these and that dice rolls, I rolled this and that.
That would be it. I should try and do that and note down my methodology for it, because it's a neat way to do it. And notably, I always make sure I roll 4 things twice, and then I pick what feels the best thematically. Like, that way, there's the option if something feels ridiculous. If one of the dice or both say that it's not happening, then we got that. But sometimes that's not the case, and both dice are like, nah, this is stupid, but it's happening. At which point
sometimes your dice are like, oh, your enemy wants to impale you with the sword now. He can't do that. I'm sorry, but he can't do that. Oh. But I don't think that would be too good for you, so let's reroll, because he's not gonna do that.
This is very unhealthy.
I don't want you to die just now. We have just started this roleplay 15 minutes ago. I do not want to kill you now. Dice, don't you do this.
Stop doing this, Dice.
Bad boy.
Yeah. You should always take into account, like, what's going on, what's a logical conclusion. Like, if you don't use dice, that's even more important. And I'm very much not keeping up with the chat, but it looks like I'm not missing much.
You're not missing much. It's me talking to the chat and roleplay, and they are having their roleplay now, so...
Nice.
I don't know if I will participate any further, because they have more important things to do, and I have more important things to do than writing right now, sadly.
Yeah.
I have a conversation to attend to.
You have a stream to attend to. Welcome.
Well, they attend to the stream too, I would say.
Yeah. But, yeah, the important thing, in my opinion, is follow logic. Like, that's what I always do. I try to keep up in my brain what's going on, what's the moving parts, and how does it logically make sense to flow. And when I GM roleplay, like, this is no joke. Earlier today, I was starting something back up, and I just went rummaging through through a bunch of papers that I have next to my desk, just to find the notes that I've got for roleplays, where I've got, like, okay, this is the general flow that's going on right now. This is the thought process behind some of these characters. Those little details that add together to make the world feel alive.
Real.
Yeah. and know roughly like, okay, what was this character planning to do? If you note that stuff down, you're gonna thank yourself later.
As a GM, most definitely.
Yeah.
As a character, you have like this little bit of freedom because it's just a character that also can't forget, but the DM has to keep the world in check, and the world does not forget what has happened.
Yeah.
If someone charges towards you, he can't come swinging at you right the next second, because, well, he just ran past you.
Yeah. It's very
That
important.
does not
to keep
make
that
sense if he's
consistency.
instantly attacking again. He needs to sort of recalibrate where he was going and needs to get going again. That takes a few seconds. If he has two more friends, those will attack first.
Yeah.
And these things, like, keep the world making sense, not skipping turns in a way.
The flow of movement is one of the key things. I know that I was writing something for Alicia the other day, where a character attacks another character, and I went back over the story because of a rewrite she wanted of it, with a little bit of different character interaction, and I realized I'd made a mistake where the character gets grabbed at on their left shoulder and then shoved to the ground by the other character charging towards them. And I just sat there and I thought, wait, this feels wrong. And then leaned back and thought, okay, so if they're coming on their on the left side of the character, on the right side of the character, they're gonna push onto their shoulder, spin them around, and I put my hand to my shoulder and like went slowly through the motion of, okay, this is what's going to happen. Push, they're gonna spin around, that opens them to an attack that knocks them to the ground. And following that train of logic of thinking, how does this movement flow, makes that story feel more real. It makes the actions flow together, and hopefully, at least that's what I hope, it means that the end product feels like it can happen. And you don't have a risk of your audience getting joined out of it of thinking, wait, hold on a second. There's not even the risk that even if it's a detail that probably wouldn't be noticed, there's not even the risk of it because it makes sense. And when it comes into role-playing, to bring it back to the topic, I try to do the same thing. I try to make sure that stuff flows together. If, as you mentioned earlier, like a character who has just been beaten down can't immediately be back up. They need to recover for a moment. And then they can get back up, they can get back into a fight, or they retreat. It's
depending on how they now feel. I mean, if you just got slammed into the ground, you might feel a bit dizzy. You don't want to be in a direct fight when you're feeling dizzy.
Yeah.
If your opponent be dizzy, no evading is gonna happen. He will take the hit. Same thing goes for you, though. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of those, like, if you got, like, I try my best to make sure that if there's a fight scene, you try to keep it as short as possible for everyone's sake.
Fight scenes can get a bit long and tedious.
Yeah, and they get very quickly become very difficult to keep track of. I know that once I wrote, I think it was 4 or 3 on one character, like ambushers. It's difficult, but it's manageable. And my best note that I can give is keep note on who is in what state. As the battle starts, write down a little list of the characters that are participating, and as stuff happens to them, note down next to their name that this is happening to this character, this is happening to this character. That way you can know that if you want to, you can even add in, like, as the mohawked man charges forwards, bloodied nose spew the cut over his brow flooding red over his eyes, that is a callback to something that the character attacking him presumably did. It's a sense of satisfaction also for the character who caused that damage. Because as a GM, you try to reward success and, well, don't punish mistakes, but if someone fucks up, well, there ought to be.
There are to be surprises waiting for him. I know how you play, Vizzy. I know it by heart.
One sec. All right. Yeah, like it's I put a lot of surprises for people around, and if you make mistakes, I'll call back to them. You'll be reminded of the facts. Don't escape it.
Making mistakes happens, especially if you're new to roleplay. So there are some people that are afraid to say they're new to roleplaying when entering a roleplay.
I'd say definitely.
Instead of being afraid of it, ask for, I wouldn't say guidance, but sort of guidance.
Feedback. Maybe.
Ask for feedback. Ask the other person to tell you if something feels missing, because they will be more able to tell you that than you can yourself. If you're not used to this way of detailed writing, just get feedback in. That is a big help.
Yeah.
Or just orient at what others do. That's what I did with Vizzy. He was the one training me to actually be acceptable at roleplaying. I was like mediocre at best with him.
And further than that, make sure to look and read. Do a lot of reading, especially if you've got into a roleplay with someone who's really good, or you can see is very detailed. At least read what they're doing, or read their starters and be like, okay, that's a good thing. But that's not a good thing. So I'll just nick what I want, not what I don't.
Yeah. Making sure that you have some form of catalog. I know that occasionally I pick up just a way of phrasing something somewhere. It can be very useful to pick stuff up. And yeah, just keep writing and ask for feedback. Like, even I would say I probably feel pretty awkward if I ask someone like, what do they enjoy in something? But that's probably mostly because I feel awkward asking to know what I do well, and that's just my own personal issue. But make sure that you do, because that's how you.
By the way, Vizzy.
Yes.
The Roleplay General channel's waiting for you.
Great.
I will get to it. Don't worry.
Great.
Bloody elf! Bloody elf!
Not yet, but if he has to get involved.
If I ask you to get involved in this mission, it would be like, oh, you know what? Vizzy, I trust you as a friend. I love you. But would you die for me? No! I will not ask Vizzy to die for me in a fight. But if at all, I would have him like somewhere quite back at the end of a radio station trying to monitor everything and get a plan set up in case something goes wrong, because I think that he would be good at.
Definitely.
Love you.
Plotting, scheming.
No, just in general, knowing people, that is your specialty. So
Yeah.
if you know how the enemy tactician thinks, and I think Vizzy will be able to know just after a few moves of his, he'll be able to get in his head and be quicker than him, give orders out and have them followed through before the enemy can react.
Oh, that would be a very cool way for this to pan out, honestly.
If I want
Shit
to get
like
Vizzy involved in this, I will, for the final fight, I will most likely ask Vizzy to stand by for support, basically for strategic support, because I know he will be better than me while I'm in the field itself. I will not be able to see certain things, especially when the enemy has radio systems and all that, because agents and stuff, they will most likely be able to talk to each other.
Oh,
Okay, going off into a rant on my own roleplay. That's the topic. What topic were we actually on? I lost track of that a few minutes back.
No worries. Or just moving on from getting into it into a subsection of that, I suppose, which is how do you create your character? And I've attached to that one thing, which is open roleplay. Because if you are too shy or too afraid that you'll mess up, or for some reason you don't want to do a one-on-one roleplay with someone, open roleplay is pretty much how I got into it. I just roleplayed, originally was in that one YouTube comment, and then I know on G+, there was one lady who basically daily she made like updated going through a day of life, and people just joined in and just goofed about. And that open style of roleplay lends itself to you making a character with a profile. And there we got our next topic. Character creation.
Yes.
For character creation, I think most importantly, you want to get a general idea of a character before you start getting into any details. I would say general idea for a character would be, if you think you would love to play a mafiosi, play a mafiosi. Get the idea of a mafiosi. What would he have gone through in life? What has happened to him? And why is he the way he is? That is the start. A background story of a character defines who they are, and then you can act them out. So try to get into the mindset of what has happened to me. Why am I acting like I am acting?
Yeah, it's definitely...
That helps a lot in playing a character good and keeping the creation to a good basis.
Yeah, you'd want to... You can portray them... Yeah, pretty much as you say, like, make sure you have a good idea. And then comes the part that I think might be more difficult, at least personally, is how do you convey that forwards? Because there's probably hundreds of roleplay profile templates out there. I know that on the bar we've got someone who's put together roleplay profile templates.
May love be to you.
Praise and I, praise the raccoon, and
praise the raccoon overlord, goddess of destruction and boobs.
I love that title. That is a good title.
If anyone clips that, please send it to Nye. Just asking.
I am. Wait, I know that there's a function I can click here. Add stream marker.
Love you too.
Stream marker, add a marker, please. Okay, that should work, hopefully. But yeah, like how you make a profile is gonna be how other people interact with your character, how people read about them and get interested, which means that it's gonna be fairly important that they are well put together, which means that we come into a question of how much do you actually put in, what do you leave out, how do you make that profile. Because you could definitely add too much or have way too little. I think I've seen both in my time.
Same. I would say what the most important things, of course, in a profile are quick to run down. You usually have a name, an age, an ethnicity, a job they do, something like that. Just because that already gives you a good idea of the character. It's short, you can read easily through it, and you roughly know a bit about the character. Then you can add some personality traits that are important to the character. Like, if you have a schizophrenic character, please add that, because that might get confusing otherwise.
Yeah. You definitely
Important character traits are to be displayed. The not so important traits like he loves football. Yeah, good for you. That you can put in hobbies, like write football in hobbies. Everyone knows what's meant. Good to know.
Yeah. Basically, put down what's important and make sure that you segment it is also a good idea. Make sure that you have like different parts. Have the basics where you have just, okay, this is their name, this is their age, this is their job. You can get the general, like, if you look them up. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Would it be applicable to say, like, if you look them up on Facebook? I don't use Facebook a lot, so I don't know.
Same. Yeah, if you look them up on Facebook, you get a general idea of how the person is.
Yeah.
That same idea you want to display with a profile. Just add the most important things to know about your character, segment it into hobbies, personality traits, maybe fears.
Yeah.
Because if you interact with someone and someone suddenly sees a spider, people react differently.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Including
and
a
maybe you
strength.
create a character that has some burn marks.
Yeah.
He most likely will be afraid of fire. Add that. That can add a bit of a layer of realization to your character that most people don't think about. Because people have fears. People have things they aren't good at. Things that they dislike.
Yeah.
Add those things.
It's a very
They
good
give
thing
life
to
to your
have.
character.
And one thing that I'd say is very much not to be underestimated is adding quotes to your character profile.
Never did that. I maybe should.
It can be very handy, I'd say. Did you have something you wanted to add there, Incubuddy?
Yeah, I never did that. I was never sure how that helped, really. I was one of those, like, why?
Personally,
I also never did it. It just gives you a general idea of how the character talks to others, and that you want to know if you go into role-playing with them, because that mostly involves a lot of talking to each other and interacting with each other.
also,
So quotes can help.
speaking as a mainly GM role player and someone who has a lot of irons in the fire, it can be very useful for you as a role player to have that quote, because you can read it and you can get into the mindset. You have a entrance way. It's like how if I want to do a medic voice, I've got a go-to line that I use as my gateway. That being, ein, zwei, drei, I think we will need more body bags. That's my link into doing that voice. And to do a character, you can have a certain phrase, something they say, some form of quote that you use as that gateway. Use that as your entrance into that character.
Hunter turned tomato red.
Yeah. Yes. That is the catchphrase.
It's not a quote, but yeah, kind of.
It's the catch action.
It was. Main was when I was just sub. Now I'm more of the switch, and now I have some masculinity back because I don't know why, but Hunter just does. Getting manly over adventures and such. You know. Fuck me. Don't. I'm
Gladly.
alive. Why am I doing this? Vizzy. No. Not in front of the kids, Vizzy.
This video is not for kids. Zip.
Not in front of the adults, Vizzy. Not in front of someone. God.
Help, why am I here?
That's an
feel
I'm
like
sorry,
I'm
you
third-
probably.
I'm third wheeling this pretty hard.
I'm very sorry about this, but at least you give us you give us some stability, because 2 wheels is kind of, you know, wanky and such. 3 wheels is a lot more stable.
We should probably move on.
Alright then, I will... Yes, let's please, quick now.
And now, this is not technically the next thing, but this is a great segue into limits. Especially if you do ERP, you might want to keep them in mind. If you've ever seen someone like do a ERP request, you've probably seen included in it my limits are, which are very handy, especially among the people who are into more extreme things. It can be very good to, among such people, know what are you not open to. Personally, I've entertained a lot of people with extreme tastes, and that's mostly because I'm a writer who am very open to try a lot of things. But even I've got my standard thing is I don't do bodily waste. Like, that's what my limit is. But
yes, most. But bodily waste. Oh yeah, all that. That is definitely one of my hard limits. Is like, it's a bit too far for me. I'm not really a fan of like lolly or shota unless it's been like doing it in a cutesy way. That's an obvious dead. No, thank you. And yeah, let's think.
Yeah, because
shit. When I think of because the only one I've done like extreme crap with would be Sophie, and she's barely on it anymore. But that thing went pretty bloody far. In fact, I like because my taste is tentacles, so tentacles tend to go pretty far.
Sometimes all the way through.
Figuratively and literally. Yes, there you are.
I had to.
I was trying to say that without trying to infer that without having to.
I could not.
But yes,
I could not withstand.
But yes. So yeah, I've got quite a few. Things I'm quite happy to do with. It just depends on the person I'm with.
Yeah.
I bet if I was things named off, I would be like, oh yes, I'm not. I definitely don't do that. Or oh yes, I'm okay to that.
Yeah.
But I need that kind of stuff for me trying to figure out my limits. I need to have someone start just saying limits, so I can be like, yes, I'm okay for that. No, I'm not okay for that.
And why is no one in the stream? I don't know. Maybe it's that we're talking about ERP. When I label the stream as this, then everyone is put off. I should just pull people into the standard snapshot survival, just so that people don't expect it, and then, bam, insightful roleplay talk about the wonderful sides of it. Wholesome.
Yes.
Maliciously wholesome. Ooh, does any of you guys know Morse code?
No.
I know a little bit of Morse code. I can at least get it up. Wait a moment.
Yeah.
Where's the Morse code?
It's in the chat. Second latest.
Yeah.
And limits will vary between people. Like, some people are far more vanilla, especially far more vanilla than I can be.
Oh yes.
But I too can do vanilla, as I think Hunter, you have had somewhat vanilla with me, haven't you? With Mira.
Yeah, I would say she's pretty vanilla. She might be dumb, and I'm happy about that, because I am pretty vanilla mostly, except for my thing for certain like mostly.
Hi there, buddy.
Mostly.
Stupid, cute little zombie.
Thigh highs save lives. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like they're your demise.
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
I don't like to get choked though. Please don't choke. Just cuddle. The fuck is wrong with me?
The weak should fear the strong.
Shut up. Shut up. Don't let them go through this. I don't want this life. There's no one watching, even though I don't want this life. The fuck is wrong with me?
Many things. But
That's why you love me, though.
oh yes. One other thing that comes into this, the thing that was technically first after character creation, is something that especially applies if you do with many people, like how the bar is, and it's something that you and I, Hunter, as moderation team, as admin, what would you call that role? Like the role of just overseeing things, operator, I guess. Sort of.
Yeah.
Are working on trying to see a solution to is how do you decide a setting, because that's it matters long term. Like if
Yes.
yeah, do you have something on it? Maybe it comes to mind.
One of the main reasons it is so important to have a setting, you will have some sort of situations that require certain aspects to a city. Say, if you have a fight in like wooden houses, that requires wooden houses, so that houses, and all that much adds up in building the general big setting you are in. And we are trying to now create such a setting where we have to take into consideration what places have we already discovered in there, what places are there, what places are known of to be there, and how do we take them and add them into a city map.
Yeah. And honestly, okay, I'm gonna go on a D&D tangent here. Because when I DM, I don't do Forgotten Realms. In part, that is because I don't want to dive as deep into the Forgotten Realms as I think I would require for my own sense of being good enough to deliver, right? I prefer homebrew because it's a better creative outlet for me, and it's, you know, easier to develop. I don't have all the already set things in there that I have to account for. Instead, all the pain that I cause is my own because I decide to introduce things that then come and bite me in the arse. But
Not wrong.
when you're doing D&D, I feel like people will still work with certain assumptions. Like, this is how elves work. And that applies even outside of just D&D and in fantasy in general. People have a presumption about how elves work, right? Especially if you mention the word high elf. Which is one that I don't typically run with. And anyone who has interacted with Visi can say that he isn't exactly this stuck-up elf aesthetic. Quite different from that. But when you
That much of a
make setting-
wingman as he was, he cannot be a high elf. Like, for real.
Yeah, he's
That boy be a wingman. He a boy.
boy.
Not that sort of boy.
Whoever's there a bee in our classroom, everyone loses their shit. So I wonder what it would be like living in America. There are literally a 2 to 3 school. Oh shit. Okay, that's the topic. I don't know how the bug spray works there. Yeah, it's agreeing on elfists. Am I right? Shit. I also fuck myself over with playing an elf because of the fact that I I partake in degeneracy. And there is a general look on elves in that.
Yes,
fucks
I
me
wonder
up.
why. I wonder how.
Ah.
I have no idea what you mean.
Okay, like, at least...
You goddamn Viking, you.
Well, if I was not at all looking at what was it? What is the person I sent you
The biggest problem with you being
Hey!
an elf is your beard. That is the biggest problem with you being an elf.
Oh,
Elves
yeah.
most usually don't have that much beard.
Yeah,
That's the biggest problem we have with you being an elf.
me in real life, I look nothing like an elf anymore. Because of my fucking beard. I used to look a lot like an elf when I was younger. Because I didn't have the beard. Because I hadn't grown it. I couldn't grow it. I've never shaved. And that's no joke. I've never shaved.
Oh my goodness. That's how you get that monstrous beard.
Yeah. I like this way of putting it. I've got a tentacle monster in my beard. But
Yes.
yeah, degeneracy in elves, it's just not maybe as funny, or maybe it's just that I don't find it as funny as tieflings having natural handlebars.
Boy.
Am I
don't get
wrong?
me started.
Oh, but elves
I'm going to be evil.
elves tend to get fucked over and up. And just fucked. In general. Which is the degeneracy side. And then in general roleplay, it's just people assume that it's gonna be a stuck-up elf. But that's why it's important to note setting. And let's actually use that as a segue into something. Because how do you write a starter? And yes, we're actually right. We're following the schedule very well. We're very good boys today.
Oh my goodness. Did not expect this.
Then again, Hunter is usually a very good boy.
Shut up.
Shush. Silence, boy.
Silence top.
Silence, people.
Me is Brett, me does not give a fuck.
I love that.
Me is Brett. Fuck me.
I think that might beat the reply of first of all switch. Silence top might actually be better. An elf is not a high elf unless he's high at least 24/7. A high elf. I mean, the people who knew me during my heyday, I should say.
I was about to say high day, excuse me, but
High day? I celebrate high day.
I should have stuck to that because I didn't sleep nearly as much as I ought to, and as people here have attested, when I get sleepy, I sound drunk. Or high.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
So, in my heyday, it was my high day. Padum tisk. But
Enough of that, please.
yeah, let's
Dad
move on
jokes.
to how you write a starter. And this especially applies if you we say that you have moved on from doing open roleplay and now you want to toss yourself at doing a one-on-one with someone. Now comes the daunting task of writing a starter.
Or your first own starter if you have partaken in roleplay before, but now want to switch into one-on-one roleplay or
Yeah.
start your own one-on-one roleplays.
Now comes trying to write a starter, and this is something I've done a lot. It just hit me how many starters I must have written. What the
I've not written that many starters, but I have written a few, I'd say.
Mostly it's because I've role-played with partners like, if you remember Alice, back in the day.
Gosh.
Hunter, she's the one that you noted when I've like held 6 role plays at once with.
Yes, I remember.
Because of people like her and to a degree Liz, who both of them like I've done a lot of varied role plays with.
Yeah, I know.
And then I write up a starter because I GM roleplay, so I set the setting, and so I start writing. Now,
What is it grinding then? I was like, huh? Huh? That's not part of the conversation. I was like, what?
Not yet. But yeah, it's to write a starter. Basically, I'd say the most important thing is talk beforehand. I'd say that anytime me and Liz start something new, and Liz, if you don't like me talking about stuff, please come on the show because I'd love to have you. Shit, that was what I wanted to have in the intro that I forgot. I wanted to talk about the fact that I want more guests. Oh well.
Speaking of Liz, I've just tagged her in the bar.
Oh, so we might have Liz just come in and just scold me for the fact that I am not replying.
Oh no, I didn't.
Well,
say
busy.
that.
What did I just do?
I was questioning about her whether tieflings have handlebars or not.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
I'm curious to hear that. But yeah, when you write a starter, what's important is to talk with whoever you're doing the roleplay with. Set out like, okay, what I usually do is, okay, what do you want from this thing? Like, what is it that you want to explore? Usually, if it's with someone who wants to do an ERP, what are the kinks, fetishes that you want to do in this? Especially for someone like me who I want to make things feel logical. If someone wants to struggle in something, but they want to lose, I want to know that beforehand. Because otherwise, someone struggling a lot might very well overpower our own opponent. But if they don't want to win, let me know that, and I can think about that in what's coming. And in the setup, if I know what your character is, like say, okay, let's just take a random thing. Romance, the person is a young lad who works in the harbor, and they find a lady who is secretly some form of spirit, and they roam the beach, right? So what this person wants is some mystique, okay? So I want to weave that into the starter of having a mysterious way that they find them. All right, maybe they are on the way home from work, they spot them on the beach, and that can be the prompt to find out. And then include some elements if they want to have, say, bondage be involved, then have some tufts of rope that have been swept ashore. If you want it to be short and get to that stuff quickly, make sure it's in the environment. And just generally go back and forth. What does this person want? What do you like? What are their limits? As you said, Incubus, make sure that you know that stuff. But know what they want and set a scene accordingly. That's the main important thing that I'd say from having done a bunch of starters. I'm not sure if you guys want to add something on that one. I went on a bit of a ramble there.
I would agree to the most part. I simply agree, yeah. The tough thing might be how to actually write a starter. Like, what do you write and how should it be written?
Especially,
I think those are the things that trouble people the most with it, actually.
And you finished?
Or how long should a starter be? All those things are still basic questions that might need some answering.
And considering this is essentially for all you people who want to get into the hobby, now, okay, someone sponsor me. I need that one. I need to find that one document someone uploaded Raid Shadow Legends like contract, just so I can do it as a goof.
Get big enough and Raid Shadow Legends will be on your butt quicker than flies.
Oh no! I just want to like use their contract to make an ad before without actually getting sponsored. Did you hear that apparently it includes a line, you must make it clear that we are not an evil big corporation. They use the term evil.
So that's what people think of Raid Shadow Legends. Good to know. Good to know.
And then there's the part that you must sound enthusiastic.
Oh yeah, Raid Shadow Legends, woo!
It's fucking hilarious. It's ridiculous. Check out Fact Fiend with Carl Smallwood. Yes, it's his real name. He is the CEO of Big Wangers Incorporated. He's British.
What?
So I hope you're proud, Incubus. I know I would.
What? Sorry, I zoned out for a second there.
The CEO of Big Wangers Incorporated, Carl Smallwood, is British. This is a real thing.
That's perfect.
You can look it up if you so desire.
No, I believe you.
I just don't want to look it up, so I believe you.
It's amazing.
I don't need that shit in my browser history. I don't need it. Like,
that's where I draw the line.
Boy!
That's where you draw the line.
Yes.
Oh, good gosh. Good grief.
But, yeah.
I have very different lines I cross every time, though.
What I was thinking about was some other things that you had written down, Hunter, included writing style. And
yes.
Let me get my phone here so I can check, because I didn't include like the topics that I had on the side that you guys see in the file that I uploaded in the image that is shown to the stream. We got dialogue, fight scenes, descriptiveness, good ERP, and writing style. And you mentioned, Under, in the part about writing a starter, how do you style it? And of course, I do a lot of GM style roleplay. I'm currently trying my hand at one-on-one. So thanks, Liz, for making me try something I'm not used to, because goodness, I need to try and make sure I keep that those skills alive to some degree.
Me stupid, I could have done that so much better. Fuck me. Ah! In a game, sorry.
That is a RP mood, though. That is my constant fucking mood.
It is. Oh, it is. It's like, could have done that better, could have done that better, though. Should have done that, should have done that.
I'm playing fucking Binding of Isaac and I'm in ERP mood, of course.
Oh, God.
Who doesn't love dead babies and stuff like that? Yeah, that be my king. Yeah,
There's
for
some
real.
serious dice in that game, ain't there?
Yeah, there's the like really bloated dice from Mom raining down upon me, trying to kill me.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
What
that
on
is
earth?
in that game.
What on earth? What on earth?
This video is
That'd be
not
Binding
for
of Isaac.
children.
I'm so confused.
Oh, but yeah. Let me real quick get a locate for fortress. But writing style. I'm curious, Hunter. Like, when you wrote that, what are you considering as writing style in this case? Like,
Something you went about a bit before, like using italics and bold to do certain things. You scratched out stuff if you want to whisper, stuff like that. Like, how do you stylize your bit of text you send and make it intuitive what you try to express with each type of writing you're using?
Yeah. I'm curious because me and Hunter, we have both rambled on a lot. So, Incubuddy, you wanna be first on this one?
Style. I was style for me was all just about how I wrote, and styles always comes via the person themselves instead of what's around them, or at least that's how I thought, how I interpreted stylization. It's never, I'm going to make it be like so on and so forth. But it was more about taking on the author's style into the character. I guess you had the stylization with whether you were trying to act out like as a mobster or a hero or something like that, by changing the language they would use or speak, or how they would act in some ways. So instead of being instead of walking up, they swaggered up or something like that. If they were being a pirate, or they crept up if they were trying to do like some sneak, try and do some stealth, something like that. Then yeah, there were some ways of being style, but for me, style for doing role plays in general was really never about. Never about that. Trying to write like someone else. It was all just about writing how I wrote, and that became the style.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. A thing I wanted, a thing why I wanted to.
One sec, guys.
They do have
You're cutting up a little bit.
this that we both use.
There we go.
The
Okay.
same,
Sounds like it's better now.
where where it goes to separate out talking from actions. A lot of people do that. A lot of people don't.
Could you take that again?
This is a
You
thing I would
cut out a lot.
What I wanted to talk about is like these slight differences how different people write. Some differentiate out actions from speech and give it an extra line, an empty line in between, so those two are separated. Some people don't. And I was interested in how that comes. Maybe talk about that a bit.
I found that to be
Like-
fun, yeah. Because I'm trying to think back to like very early. I think I've written in the past everything like as one flow, but I think in the beginning of doing it on Discord I used italics. I emulate it because that's I'm not ashamed to say that a lot of what I do, and I think this might be true for a lot of people, so don't be ashamed if that's the case, you emulate other people. You see how someone else does something, and you find it to be a neat way to do it. And then you decide that, okay, I'm gonna implement this into my own stuff. Like, I'm just gonna go on a guess that it might have been... No, I've got no idea who might have been who, like, split. It could have been Liz, it could have been Shen. It could have been either of those who split up their lines. I know that Shen splits his very neatly with one line in between speaking and an action.
May does the same.
Yeah, Naya's also good at that. I think it was with Liz that I picked old, and I know that we have the same pattern of spacing out your dialogue and action, but I'm not sure who copied who there. I'm not sure which of us.
It was one of you, that's for sure.
Yeah. Probably her being the original, because I think she has been more active than me. As far as like recent time goes. Whereas I had such a long break from role-playing is overall. Ooh, this is not gonna work. I need to... we're actually going to, I think, close that down, and we're gonna just switch
Easy.
over to something else. Just to save my computer a bit. So, yeah, the style that you write will help. And the reason that I now more split up my text the way I do is to make it easier to actually read. Like, by splitting your actions and your phrases, you can more clearly tell them apart. And using bold instead of italic is a first step in that, I'd say. Because if you write everything as one, and then you just write, "Why, hello there," and that's just plain text. Then you put in italics, "I reach out my arm to offer a handshake," and that's italic. And then, "I don't believe I've seen you before." That's plain text. Italic and plain text are different, but if you're reading them in a group roleplay, they can very quickly blend together. Whereas if you make it bold, it does a little bit of extra. You're gonna be able to tell it apart a little bit better. And if you add on top of that, using quotation marks for your lines, which I take to doing, that's gonna help split it up, though you don't need to do it as much if you make a new line for action. So final result is quotation mark, "Why hello there," end quotation mark, new line, bold text, "I reach out my hand to offer a handshake," end of bold text, new line, quotation mark, "I don't believe I've met you before," end quotation mark. That's gonna look really neat, even if when I say it, it probably sounds like gibberish.
It does.
Yeah.
Quite.
I've used the speech to text a few times.
Oh, I stopped using that once they changed. Samsung changed from changed from having the text to speech done by Google to having it done by Samsung. So I just haven't used text to speech since. So I can't tell you any tips or tricks for that.
Yeah. If you want to use... my best advice is don't. Because you're going to need to look it over anyway. It's much better to just learn how you hold your... If you're using your phone, how you hold it. And learn the keys. I actually utilized that just earlier today when in the car. I was like, I cannot look at the screen. I'm not driving, but can't look at the screen without feeling motion sick. But
yeah,
it sits in my thumbs how to spell stuff out. So I just closed my eyes and typed out the message, memory. And there we go. Yeah, that's gonna do you a lot. And especially if you need to not constantly keep your eyes wide open at something, it's gonna probably be good for your eyes. I'm not whatever the word was for someone who studies eyes and helps you with that, doctor.
Short-sighted, long-sighted, just attention time.
There's a word for like the people who work with vision that Benny actually told me one stream, and I've forgotten. Took me a few tries to get it right, but eventually. Eventually it got there. We've got a few other things here that are fun, but goodness gracious, we've pretty much chewed through stuff.
Gee, goodness gracious, yes we have, haven't we?
Yeah, we have dialogue, which is a fun one. And I'm gonna let you guys go first, and then I'm gonna go on a spiel. I'm gonna visit the restroom real quick. See, you guys.
Well,
entertain the
firstly,
chat.
then to talk about dialogue, always use unless you really know the person, always use speech marks to tell that the character is talking. And after that, I would always say whether it were always say the type of the type of way they're saying it, even in the paragraph before the speech or just after the speech, so the person reading it knows how it's being said. But if if you're controlling multiple people, I would say put it just before it. Put in like the initials of the characters. So for it would just be a IN or a KM, and then put some colons, and then put in the normal speech. But if it's just your one character, I'd say just doing a normal speech marks would be enough for your partner to understand it. What would you say then, Hunter?
I'd agree with that. But the thing with dialogue is what some people do, they rant off in dialogue. That happens, but it shouldn't happen too bad. Try to keep your messages short because you have a dialogue. Another person is talking to you too. They will most likely stop you at a point. Try to talk to you again.
Don't overdo it.
All right. What did I miss? Also, I used spotted.
You missed me talking spiel about me just talking about how to do speech in roleplay, and that's it, really, chap.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if I can repeat any points.
Oh, I've talked about the use of speech marks, the use of putting in initials if you're using multiple characters, and putting in the way someone is talking, either in the paragraph before they speak or the little bit after they speak.
Yeah, that is a very good thing, and I'm gonna sort of develop on that one because this is where I remember last stream we did this. Hunter, you mentioned how my characters tend to feel unique. They tend to have their own style to them. I cannot tell how many times I've gone into the Discord search function and just looked up the character name and just like scrolled through and reminded myself, okay, what's the little quirk of speech that this character has? Because it makes such a difference. And to highlight it, let me mention two characters. Both are ones that Liz will be familiar with, who are so much fun to write, but I always need to remember just how I do them. One of them is a human woman who bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Who's continuously very drugged feeling. She will sway from side to side, she'll move forwards, and she talks sort of, you look beautiful like morning sun. And the way that's expressed in text is standing out. It's not just a bit of descriptive, but I make sure that she only speaks 2 to 3 words, and then ... next line ... to make it flow, to visually make you see that speech pattern. And then the other character is very much the opposite. Rosha, the four-armed tailor, who, fuck it, I'm getting a picture of her up on the stream because I commissioned someone to draw her and it's fucking gorgeous. The forum tailor, she speaks with periods after only. She never has a comma in her writing. She only uses period. And that's because her speech pattern is very clicking. It's supposed to be almost arachnid-like. So she comes to point, donk, stop, stop, stop. Almost Morse code-esque, I guess. By introducing these quirks, you make your character more memorable, because the lines that they've said will be remembered just by the sheer visual. Writing is a medium where you don't have a lot of that. We have a very limited selection of tools that we can use to make something stand out to your eyes. Personally, I find that using the way someone speaks might be our best option. By having characters who drag out their lines, or have some words that they repeat, you hold an interest in that character. And I've been told once that the line, "You are beautiful like the morning sunrise," that line was remembered, which made my little writer heart very happy. Yeah, like when you write dialogue, if you want the character to be remembered, think, how might they talk? Is there some way that they can talk that makes sense for them? Again, coming back to that thing of make sure that it makes sense that this character does this. It flows, or at least like you can, even if it might sometimes be outlandish, but if it flows, you can pull it off. Yeah, that's my 2 cents about dialogue. Have those little quirks and go back and check what they were, or write them down. Get World Anvil. Get those character pages. It will save you so much.
I'll use Google Docs.
Yes.
And write it down. Just have some sort of file.
Yeah.
Even if you read it like once every few, like I tend to read mine like every few months just to have a reminder.
Yeah.
Well, after heavy role playing, but if I've not role played for a long time, then I just I will read them to pop myself back up.
Yeah.
Myself back up.
And occasionally you might also want to make some adjustments. If the character has changed in some way. Yeah, let's see if there's another point on this additional. Now I'm in Roleplay General 2, where I noted that you started a discussion about handlebars. I was like, there's activity in Roleplay General 2? And for some reason I'm getting notifications from it, so I probably got that set on every.
Oh yes.
For some reason. We have fight scenes, which we've talked a lot about.
We have.
It feels like that's one that we keep coming back to. I guess that's because it's a curious one. But
And it is a hard one to do.
yeah, we should. I need to get Shen on one of these streams. I feel like he would be so much fun to bounce fight talk with.
Yes. I mean, he is probably one of the best we know.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Maka and Anubis also talked about them doing fight roleplays, so I think Shen and Anubis respect each other at fighting, I think, if I remember right. I'm trying to go through my backlog of all of you people's biographies, the character profiles of you as people.
You remember the exact profiles. Oh my goodness.
I've got a framework. I know how to poke people's buttons. But yeah, like fight scenes. Outside of that, we got descriptiveness and good ERP, which honestly, you guys want to dive into that one? Because I feel like it is one that could be good to delve into, of the fact that the poor ERPing is a stereotype about this hobby. And if someone wants to get into this, then knowing how to avoid being a cringy ERPer might be good. It's up to you guys if you want to dive into that.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. How long has this been going on for? That's a
about 2 hours.
Question.
Soon.
Let me refresh. 106 hours.
Hold on.
106 hours. Oh, I mean 106 minutes.
106 hours. Yeah, we.
Oh, I wish.
This boys, we.
That.
Oh my goodness! I think I would be
ended.
suicidal at that point.
I almost didn't pick that up. I almost did not pick that up at all.
That is wonderful. Oh, I'm still trying to find the bloody image that I commissioned. I've not got it on my computer, and it's okay, you know what? I'm gonna send it in our chat. I'm gonna pull it in. But yeah, while I do this, you guys go about how to not be
You
cringy.
girl.
You
How
girl.
not to be here.
You
Not
guys.
to be cringy.
We girls not be cringy in ERP. You know that, right?
Don't
Oh,
go
yeah,
over the
yeah.
ball.
No.
Don't go over the top with that, especially if it's your first time. Don't go over the top, and don't, for God's sake, don't be like, I do XYZ and it makes you feel XYZ. So
Oh,
I caress my hand along your stomach, and it makes your skin ignite on fire with love and lust and desire. Like,
Don't
No,
go overboard.
that's-
if you're
no,
one-on-one,
just-
make sure you make it attempting to.
Also, remember at the end of the day, if you're doing it with a random, you're most likely off. You are not doing it there to experience or go about doing this in-depth character development, morally ambiguous. There we are. Dilemmas. You're both doing it to get each other off most times. But if you come into it from a character just sharing a moment, then understand that it's going to have a bit more deeper meaning than he put dick inside. It
Yeah.
went slop slop slop.
Okay, I'm gonna call a group of people out, and I want to preface it by love the people, like the dedication that these people have. Amazing. But sometimes the stuff they write are one-sided, and sometimes their determination to stick to their tradition, it grinds my gears, but that's just the way I am. And that is the captioning community. They got some really solid writing knowledge, especially with like spelling, grammar, that stuff. There's some serious dedication there. But if you just look up like hentai caption images, you're gonna find what I mean when I say that some people just put in way too much detail on the act, right? And I feel almost a little called out by you, Incubus, about the don't make it in depth.
No, don't make it over the top in depth.
Okay.
Remember,
Yeah,
You
and
can
if
go in depth.
if it's come from another thing, yeah. But
if it's come from something where your characters have had like, in story like a year of being
Yeah.
together or a extended period of time of being together, then
Hunter and
it's
Mirror.
understandable. It's understandable to go in depth when this inevitably, well, not inevitably, but this pops up. But if you're going in from seeing, because most times for ERPs and all that, they came in from Google Plus and people having starters up, and I would just pick up going, okay, that seems fun, or oh, okay, they've all go about it. If I've
Yeah.
just come into it, then it's just you're not you're going in there to get each other off
Yeah.
at that moment in time.
Yeah. I'm just making a humor, having when I do try to do something that's just for the sex. I'll somehow manage to rope in like character arcs. That's just because I'm addicted to that shit. So no harm, no foul.
Like that.
No harm, no foul. But definitely, like, if you're just there to get each other off, if you're just there for having a good time, don't be ashamed of it. It's a more creative way than just pirate shit, which, let's face it, we all do. Like, let's not lie. As soon as you look up on Google, you're taking it to pirating. Don't be ashamed of it, but don't go, as Incubus says, too detailed. Don't make it all the focus, and for God's sake, for all that is wholesome in this world, don't tell your partner it makes you feel like this. If you're one-on-one, never do that.
No, speaking of that, don't take it as this person's in love with you. Don't take this deeply.
Yeah, don't.
What you're doing is, it's a bit of fun, and it's a bit of you're both doing a deed, but it's a bit of fun for you both. So don't, if you see this person then going about doing it with someone else, don't go and like, hey, you do it with me, you're not allowed to do that, you hurt me, and all this. Don't be like a jealous ex or something like that.
That's how you're gonna get people disliking you. That's like step one to make people feel
it's a hobby, nothing more.
Like me and Hunter, we call each other lovers. At the end of the day, we're really good friends. Like,
at the end, we're bros. Like, it's a nice bromance I have with him. I would never ever have sex with him because I just couldn't do that.
Because they're not gay.
Shush.
I mean, I would cuddle with him in the hot tub.
Yeah.
I don't care about that shit, but like, I would never have sex with him. He's a bro.
I would definitely rest my chin on Hunter's head. 10 out of 10, even in a hot tub. This is why people draw yaoi of me.
Wait, people do that? What?
It was long ago, but I have had yaoi made of me.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, okay.
Also, I'm just gonna. Oh shit, that's the wrong thing. I'm just gonna get this image up. This is the forearm tailor, drawn by Seyo Mint. For everyone's knowledge, you can go commission. You can commission the artist who made this.
No, I'm waiting for my games bundle for giving money to the Yogscast
Charity?
Christmas stream. Yeah,
that's a good cause. That was a good cause.
Oh, I'm waiting for the. Cause he meant to send a link within 2 days, and it's almost been yet. I've had the I've got the receipt, so it's like, yes, I know they've taken my money, but it's like, I'd like to have my bit, please.
No good business story ever starts with, I know they've taken my money.
Oh yeah.
That's not a start of anything good.
I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everything goes right. I mean, I don't know them to be a dishonorable. I'm just gonna leave this up. I'm just gonna leave this on here, and add a little text bar to say, "Hey, go commission this person." Missionable. But yeah, when it comes to ERP, is the most extreme place where I'd say in one-on-one, one of the biggest things that you need to remember is don't take control over the other person's character.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you're doing something where you're supposed to be very dominant, put the situation in such a way that your character's actions affects their character. You don't take control of their character's action. Now, I'm not done much hypnosis, so if someone ever wants to get on here and talk about that, who knows more about that, I'd love to hear that side of it, honestly.
Man, I'd love to hear what that kind of place is like, but I've never done it, and oh, hello, Hunter.
I have.
Okay.
As a part-time magician, like I did magic for a while because fun. That came also the slight bits of hypnosis, and then someone was like, "Want to do a hypnosis roleplay?" And I was like, "I have no idea how to do this, but I will try my best."
Did it go
And she was surprised with how well someone who never done it could execute it. So,
You know, that's what the first person to use the guillotine got told as well.
Yes.
I had to try and take that joke, but I'm not sure how well it landed. I didn't have the basket in the right place. But yeah, like, how do you execute on that? Because in that situation, like, it feels like the most likely that you would have to control someone else's action. And by that I mean that in your writing, if you're writing first person with both people, and personally I tend to do third person and sometimes with people who do, but if you're both doing first person, you are I, me, and you don't do you do I try to make you instead is what I would say. But some situations would make you be in a situation where that might not work. Hypnosis feels like the most likely.
Most usually you have hypnosis where you actually have to tell the person what to do. So you go about it basically mostly with talking. You tell the person to do certain this, that, and that, and they will respond to your command. You can talk more about how you say it, because mostly hypnosis is about a calm tone of voice, a voice you trust in. You need to get the trust of someone, and you need people who can actually trust you.
You basically
That's the biggest
need to
thing about hypnosis.
set the scene. So it's mostly going to be about setting the scene, setting up triggers and such.
Yeah, you start with getting her into the hypnosis, and that can alone take for half an hour and more, even if you're both at it, going at it.
Yeah.
Because hypnosis is something slowly built up in intensity. You can't be like, and you in trance, that don't work. You have to slowly get them there. So you have quite a bit of setup time you can use to get the character to know, but get to know the other person better, to see how they write, and then act them out to do something.
Yeah.
And they will tell how they do it.
Yeah. So
Maybe with some added speech.
So basically, it's one person will mainly do dialogue with a few actions, and the other person, the recipient, will do mostly action and then a little bit of dialogue, would you say?
Basically, yeah. That's how you keep like a solid balance of who talks.
That feels like that makes sense, yeah. Like, any scene where there's potential imbalance is difficult to me. But with that, I feel like we've actually gone over like all of our topics. Huh. I was not expecting this to be over this soon. I think Incubus is currently talking to someone off screen. But I think we're gonna start wrapping here. But Hunter, are you there?
Of course I
Okay,
am.
good. Discord disconnecting. Shit.
No, it is not. I
Good.
hope it's not, at least, because that means mine would be also bullshitting me.
Hopefully not. But I want to talk about one thing, and I want to ask your thoughts on how to expand this, because doing this is a lot of fun, honestly. Just a talk show like thing has been a lot of fun. I was like, and I'd love to have more people on to talk about role playing, because it's a fun hobby, and if more people want to get into it, like, it's very affordable. One might say.
It don't cost you much except time.
Yeah, it costs you time and an internet connection. Or if you want to go really old school, I guess you could factor in the cost of mailing a letter.
Oh my goodness, that would take for ages.
Yeah, that would, like, one reply a day. This is gonna be far worse than that. Reply rate is something we haven't talked about. That's for a future stream then. But there are people I would love to have on this show. Can I call it that? Can I call this a show yet?
What do you want to call it then? Like, do you have a name for the show?
I don't know. I just call it roleplay shatter. RP shatter. It's got a nice ring to it.
Welcome to Roleplay Chatter.
Yeah. It's
Your
very
moderator, Busy, here for you to talk about roleplay as usual.
Hi, I'm back again.
What did I miss?
We're starting to do a little bit of wrapping and talking about how we can do this again, how we would continue this show, series, whatever you want to call it. Because I love this format. It's a lot of fun. Because it means I get to sit down with wonderful friends and just talk about something I really enjoy. Aww. Wait, what the fuck? Did you just sound like an anime girl? How the fuck?
Oh, there's a tower ball.
I'm disturbed.
I got
Kawaii,
no
would you
idea
shut
what
up,
mean.
please?
Kawaii.
Got no idea what you
Silence.
mean, you buggers.
But yeah, like, one thing I would love to have more on this show is more guests, especially from the people that we keep talking about. Like, I'd love to compile like how many times we've said people's names throughout these two videos.
Oh yes, I would love that. I'm not 6 hours of my life trying to count fucking names.
Don't worry, you can play it at like 2 times speed and it's a lot easier. That's what I did to edit it down.
Still came out with a 2-hour video though.
Yeah, because I
Yes.
compressed it down. Like, I cut out all of the tangents. That's what I did. But I've been called out. It's not really a highlight. It's more like a compression of the video.
Yes.
A highlight would be if I just cut out, like, take just the tangents.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting when I read it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's 2 hours. Oh crap! I'm listening. Why am I? I'm an hour through it. Why? I thought it would be over by now."
To be fair, if I cut down the opposite way around, it would be an hour, consequently.
Oh gosh.
Because then it's just the parts that didn't make it into that video. Minus a few silences. Such as you being told the story about how Dora thought I was gay for 6 months.
6 months.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh,
But
I love that little story.
Uh,
Though it wasn't as interesting being part of it as it was hearing it on the screen, which is eye-opening for me. It's like, oh,
Clover, give me your meat. That's the one thing. She said begging for his meat. I was demanding it.
begging, demanding. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing when it's busy. But yeah, like, having other guests from the bar on would be lovely if they want to. Like, let me actually, I've got a little notebook. I've got a tiny little notebook where I've got written down some names that I would love to have on. And S- one of them is actually someone that I don't think any of you guys know, who is the person actually who invited me to that one SMP, which I'm probably dropping for anyone who's wondering. But he seems to have done role-playing in the non-text-based format, like with a game engine helping it along, meaning that combat is far easier. It would be a lot of fun to have someone who has had that experience of role-playing on this show. Oh, me. What I've heard is like this guy is like Gmod. That branch.
Oh no. I've only got the stereotypes of Gmod roleplays.
I have played Gmod roleplays. I got into Star Wars The Clone Wars roleplay for, I think, like a day or two. And then I was like, okay, this nothing for me, boys. I'ma head out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I started my online role-playing endeavors probably like the earliest is play Roblox, so can't really throw shade from me.
Oh, it's okay. Roblox don't bother me. The first game I streamed on my channel was bloody Roblox.
Yeah, but you're doing
I
something
never
that looks
played
professional.
Roblox. I never did.
Incubus, you're playing something that looks professional. It's just lower graphics, aka my standard. I can't wait to get a hardware upgrade. But yeah, like people,
Get it big.
I would love to have like Shen Mocha on the show, and if we can get Liz on somehow, I'm gonna have to somehow ask her that, and I've got no idea how to. I really enjoy your roleplay company and your shoe company, so I
have verbal company too.
I don't want to jeopardize that, and thus I feel terrified. My anxiety is through the roof.
I mean,
Is
I
that
could
not
always,
the usual?
I could always ask it for you.
Shut, Hunter, shut. And if you want to go, like, shoot for it, because I'm not gonna be able to break the ice. Real PS4 gamer, Pappy, hi gamer. Someone's gonna clip that. Someone's gonna take just a clip of me saying hi gamer. Shit.
I love that name. Where's it come from? I feel like it may have been something from me sharing it, but oh my gosh.
Oh, that's amazing. But yeah, like having Mock on, having Shen on, and who else have we talked about like on this show?
Benny.
Yeah, Benny mentioned.
Anthony, Benny, Mocha, Liz, and Nye.
Yeah, I think you have talked about. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name.
I've talked about Sophie.
Yeah, Sophie. We're gonna get so gaslit. Is like I suspect that we're all gonna get put on a spit roast fire for our stories. Hopefully in a very friendly banter manner.
We'll be fine. We'll live.
Hunter will
They'll
live.
be cool about it. I mean, they love us, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think they love you too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about me. I barely talk to them.
Oof.
Like,
To,
I mean,
to
I
cite the
know
game
them
that you
kind of a
play.
bit.
To cite the game that you play, Incubus. Oof.
Oh God. Yes, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That would be fun.
I will be interested with it.
Yeah, like I have such a hard time expressing like why it's fun to stream already. But expressing why this is so much fun, I think the best way is probably it's talking about something I'm passionate about. It's why I enjoy streaming Minecraft is because it's a creative outlet I enjoy. Why I would love streaming Blender is a creative outlet I enjoy. Why do I enjoy doing this? Because I get to talk with lovely people about a shared hobby that I find to enjoy as a creative outlet. And occasionally I get praised, and I just feel very warm about it, and I love it.
Oh.
You
Cute boy.
guys, okay, like, I'm gonna get sappy for a moment, and I don't want to do this too much on streams, but I'm gonna get sappy because I want to tell you guys a story, alright? So, roughly 4 years ago or so, it must have been, like 3 or so years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago, I lost touch with a lot of people because of something that happened. And you know me, I'm a social guy. I enjoy company. I was able to find you guys. I was able to find the role-playing community that I had then not been around for, I don't know, 3 years. And I found that that community was still alive on a server. That's where I met Hunter. And then via that, we all ended up on the bar. And that has helped me a lot. That was a way for me to get away from the fact that I had lost so many people, touch with so many people. And I was scared to talk with the people that still stuck by me. And a lot of those people still stick by me today, which I'm very grateful for, and some of them are mixing back together with this social group, which is terrifying, but it warms my heart. And you guys helped make sure that I was able to be where I am today, because you made me have something to wake up for. So thank you guys for existing.
Definitely oof. I can't. I speechless. That's why I say oof. I'm incredibly honored. Humbled? No, I'm not. I'm not one of those, sadly. But I am incredibly honored by it. I'm glad I could help.
Same. I don't know what to say. You're one of my best friends, and you do the same for me. So, I love you, bro.
I so wish I could call y'all. And if anyone questions why get into this hobby, you can get people like this to be your friends. You can get...
Don't try to scare them.
No,
the fuck?
no.
What are you doing?
Silence.
It sounds more like you're scaring them with the prospect of getting this person.
Silence, cutie.
The prospect of getting me is not like good.
No,
Don't do it.
because I might be sad.
Oh, don't be sad.
I think
It's okay.
we could talk forever, but that's for another story. Is there any... Actually, Hunter, do you have anything you want to advertise? Before we wrap
If you
up?
want weird pictures of me, go follow my Instagram. Yeah. At Hunter Growling. Pay a visit. Maybe have a role. Go on, beach end finally.
Oh, it's so close, but yet so far.
Lovely how you really want that to end.
Oh, I've just been paying attention. I've just been paying attention so much. It's like,
It's investment.
come on,
Pay a
play!
visit.
Stop buffering
Maybe
and
have a
play!
Sunk cost value. Okay.
Go on, beach end finally.
Wait, why am I hearing me? Oh, it's so close, but yet so
I have
far.
no idea. I hear you too, doubled. Lovely.
Oh
how
my
you
god!
said
For some
doubled.
reason, we've just started talking about
really
wanting
want
the
that
stream to
end.
end. It's jumped. It's jumped to right now.
What?
I've just been paying attention so much. It's like,
It's how the fuck?
come on,
Hey, that is
play.
not good.
Okay.
Time to end the stream.
Okay. Before we crash the time space continuing next stream is Sunday. Goodbye.